I don't know. We're about to find out. So, all right. I started it a little bit early. Not quite sure what's gonna happen here because we had it scheduled for 7, but I just wanted to kick it off. I wonder if it actually switched over to the fact that it's live now. All right, we will get this thing kicked off. We want to welcome everybody. We're going to do a full day of demos. I'm going to turn a lidded box. Then after me, it's Jim Overton is gonna go ahead and turn doing some milliput stuff, and then Ann's on after that. She's doing some spoon carving and a Q&A, and then Jamie Page is on after that. Let me think. I'm trying to think. Then it's Scott Grove. He's gonna be doing some cool stuff, and then Zac Higgins gonna be doing some casting. Then Darryl is gonna be doing a hollow form, and then I'm gonna finish it up the day at it's 3 o'clock Pacific time. I'm going to finish it up and do a little bit of resin turning. So hope you stick around. If you go to easywoodtools.com, they'll have a full list of the schedule when everybody's going to be on and everything, and links to all their channels. But what we're going to do is when I get close to wrapping up here, I'm going to, or not I am going to, they're going to be have some links in the chat there to Jim's channel, so you can just click over to his and he'll start his thing. So we'll just kind of keep going through the day and getting all these done. I believe it's almost 9 o'clock. There, Robin is going to put a link up in the chat here for the so you can enter the raffle. So EasyWood's giving away some great stuff today, and there'll be a link in the chat. She'll probably put it up periodically, and you can go there, sign up for it, and get entered into the drawing. It's super cool stuff. Thank you, EasyWood, for putting all this together, and I think we should get started here. I'm going to turn a maple box. If you have any questions, this is it's a live show. So Robin is on the phone with me. If you have any questions, put them up in the chat. She will relay them to me, and I will try and answer them as I'm working, so I don't have to go back and look at the chat to try and figure out what questions are. So keep that in mind. Oh, good morning, everyone. See, Robin told me everybody's saying good morning. So all right, let's kick this thing off. So this is a virtual maker day, or virtual maker fair. I think that was what it was. And there'll be, everybody's going to be in the chat too from EasyWood, so they'll have the links and everything to that. So let me switch cameras here real quick. We'll get this thing centered. All right, let me switch cameras over. So Robin just asked me, Chris or Christy, Doug, Jim, can you guys try and put the link up in the chat? She's not sure if you guys can add a link to it if you're not a moderator. Can you make them moderators real quick? I'm not sure how you do that. Okay, all right. Just gonna try that real quick. So I have a piece of beautiful maple here. This is a leftover chunk out of the piece I did turn the little lady figurine out of a couple weeks ago, and this was a chunk left over on the bottom. It's got some cracks in it right there, but those are gonna go away. Before I get started, everybody can hear me fine. Everybody can see fine. Stream seems okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is tighten this thing up, and then I'm going to move the other camera over so give you a couple different views of this. All right, go. And everything seems okay, and then we're going to move this camera over here real quick so that you can get a better view of it when I'm doing other things. there we go. Well, we will get that. And Jim, yes, we'll get a link to the raffle in the description too. But Robin has it all pulled up so she can actually put it right in the chat too. So go over and sign up for that, guys. They're giving away some awesome stuff, and it has a list of the stuff over there too. All right, so I'm going to start this out. I don't know, it's a solid piece of wood. Those cracks are pretty superficial. So I'm going to just start it out probably 1,000 RPMs. What I'm going to do is true the whole piece up and then put a tenon on each end of it. We're going to make this box so that the grain lines back up on it. So get that started. And I'm just going to use the rougher for that. I'm just taking passes with about half the width of the cutter. I'll switch the camera over so you get a little different angle of it. And turn the speed up a little bit. Same thing here, just taking about half the width of the cutter. Somebody had a question about laying out their shop for turning. It really, you don't need a whole lot of space for turning. So what I did was I basically, right here I have a spot. It is about 8 feet by 8 feet. I have my lathe, all of my tools beside me, and then behind me I have a cabinet with my sharpening system and everything else I need, sandpaper and different attachments. So as far as turning, you need very little room. The only thing I have outside of this is my bandsaw that I use a lot, but everything else to turn is literally in about 8 by 8. I put the tools there right behind me, so I literally can just turn around and grab a tool. I don't barely even have to take a step to grab them. I did. I have some things on the lathe here. Somebody made me a tool caddy that goes on the back of it, so I have all of my center finders and live or spur centers, everything over there. Chuck keys, all of that. Have all the little attachments on the little magnetic plate up here. Yeah, Josh. The AAW symposium, but they're doing it virtual this year, and we are gonna do a session on it, so that will be fun. Yeah, because everything got shut down. Everybody's doing virtual classes and demonstrations, stuff like this. Switch you back over to the top view here in a second. We'll make some tenons on this thing, and I can run right back. All right, now that we have it true, there's a little spot right there. I need to go in a little bit more on that. Little flat spot. You want to get all the flat spot, depending on what it is. If it's something like a lidded box where you want it true, you want to get all that done first. I'm going to crank the speed up a little bit more. And you can kind of see the ghosty in there. I'm going to smooth this up a little. Yeah, that does. Oh man. Won't be back there for 2 years. Yeah, where is it in Missouri? Still waking up. It's 7 o'clock. Big of a chunk there. Now we just put it right in. Now we got that get all flat. Just screw the whole thing up. What's kind of weird is a little piece left out from leftover from the female figurine. Now that we have that all true, what I'm going to do now is come in here. It's just a beautiful piece of maple. Got some fiddle back in it there, a little bit of burl, a little bit of everything. So I'm going to put a tenon on this end and on this end. And that way I'll come in here and and part this in half here. And this will be the lid, and then that'll be the body. Oh, yeah, you can do it either way, Alan. Roughing gouge would work too. All right. Oh, the lathe is louder than my voice. Hang on one sec. Let me try and figure out. Hang on a sec. Hang on one sec. Let me. Oh, when it switches back and forth? All right, hang on a sec. Let me try and figure out, well, how do I adjust that? Let's, hang on, guys. Well, why is it? Hang on. I'm trying to, hang on. I'm trying to figure out why it's picking up the other mic. I'm just not sure. So when I click over to the overhead one, it Why? It's in vMix. So I am in overhead view. How about that? I just shut it off. Is that good? Is that better? Let's try that. Well, no, it still looks. Is it still picking it up, or is that better? I'll wait for a response. Glad you could come in. Let me know if that helps with the mic situation. I'm just bringing that little nub down there so I can cut that off and grab it with the chuck. All right. Better. All right. I think I got it. Hopefully. All right. I'm going to put another tenon down on this side. And just like that, maybe a little bit less. And then I'm going to make sure that that's undercut just a little bit. It doesn't really have to be undercut, but it definitely have to be flat so the jaws will will sit up against it. And everybody's still good with that. It's better. All right. So now we can take and determine what we want, how much of the lid we want. So I'm thinking, so the tenons are all going to be gone when we're done. And all we're going to have is this part right here. So I'm thinking about right there. And so a little bit of this side is actually going to be the tenon for the recess on the lid too. So you're going to lose a little bit of this. So I'm thinking about right there. And back it up just a little bit. We'll just go in, and then we'll end up sawing it off. But a little bit more. You can kind of look through and see the light. We're about, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch. There we go. That way it doesn't just kind of stop before it goes all the way through, so it doesn't pinch it and pop off the lathe. And then I just have a little pole saw I always keep right here. And it cuts through them pretty fast. And then I'm going to cut off the, let me switch back to the other camera. I'm going to cut off that little nub there. There we go. And so we got tenon on each end, and then we can put it in the chuck and start working on it. Face plate off. Do you guys have any questions? If you do, just put them up in the chat and Robin will relay them to me. Don't be shy. Hey Eric, how you doing? Yeah, having fun turning? Just get started with it. Yeah, it is a lot of fun. I love it because it's, you know, I mean, we just took a raw piece of wood and, you know, this quick we're gonna be able to have a finished product in, you know, an hour or so. Yes, Jim, it is maple. It is. Yeah, just beautiful. Got great character in it. Maple's like one of my favorite woods to turn. Yes, Adrian, I did. I used it's a thin parting tool, and it's got a bit of a taper on it, so it actually cleans out as you're cutting in. So it really, you don't have to waste much wood. Who holds the record for quick change jobs? I don't think that's anybody doesn't know that it's me. I'm the world champion quick change. At Easywood Tools, you can find the schedule. Somebody wanted to know about the schedule. I can't find where did my little, oh, there it is. Oh, hang on a sec, guys. I gotta change the tool rest. Apparently it fell on the floor. No, I've never had a problem with the chuck, and when I change it around, I'll show you. But I've never had one of them come off. It never had. When early on they did have an issue with the zoom ring, but that's all been resolved for a couple of years now. Yeah, there was a little bit of an issue with that gumming up, but it never affected the chuck. The chuck, you could still use the key and everything, but I've been using them for years, and I've never had one of the jaws fail or pop out or anything. And it's just a little thing in there that's holding them together. Yes, I did do a dovetail on the tenon. Sorry about that. So you can, what's the best view for this? How about that right there? You can kind of see if I stand in front of it. I did just a slight one. It doesn't have to be. You should make it whatever your jaws are. Some of them are a little more aggressive than others as far as the dovetail angle, but most of them are pretty standard. It's, just try and make it close. And the only other key when you're doing this is, switch back real quick. This is probably the most important thing, is that gap right there. Don't make the tenon longer than the length of the jaws. You don't want it to seat on the bottom of the chuck. You want to leave a little bit of area in there. And the reason is, if this tenon is longer, none of these jaws up here are going to be touching the wood, so you're not getting any support from the jaws all the way around. It's kind of, it's basically just hitting the bottom of it and the sides, and it will, a lot of times, depending on what you're doing, it'll pop out of the chuck or loosen up because of that, because the tenon is too long and it's hitting the bottom. So you definitely want to leave some space in there and make sure that all the jaws seat up here, and then in the dovetail around it too. So yes, it was an Easywood party tool. Yep. Okay, so I'm gonna clean out the majority of the inside of it here. I'm gonna crank the speed up to about 2,000 or so. Let me clean that up a little bit. Somebody had a question about, have I ever turned crate motor? And yes, I have. How is it? It turns okay. Not bad. A lot of it comes from the south, like Georgia and stuff like that. It's not like our Myrtle wood out here. It turned all right. Everybody back there said it's kind of kind of just a junk wood, but it seemed to turn okay. It didn't have a lot of character to it. Nothing to compare. Having a sound problem again? I don't know. Sorry. Well, we'll just stay on this camera. I don't know why it keeps kicking over. Okay, Robert, thank you. Okay, I just shut those all off. But it doesn't seem to be changing anything. Um, I'm... Alright. Alright, let's... I'll just leave it on this view, and then when we go back, I just shut all the settings off, so hopefully that will work. And this one here is the #1 hauler with a regular cutter on it. And so what I'm doing is just cleaning out the majority of it, and then I'll go ahead and come in with the parting tool and make the recess for the tenon that's going to be on the box. Okay, thank you, Robert. I have on a wireless mic, and then, but the camera it's on right now, for some reason, it's not picking up the audio on it. It's just the overhead one. All right. Oh, shavings on the camera. All right. So now I'm going to come in with the parting tool again. What's the moisture content of it? It's bone dry. It is there. Well, it's not bone dry. It's probably 7-8%. It's not green wood. Okay. Now we're going to come in. So when you're doing the recess for the tenon, you want it parallel. So try and keep that as straight as you can. The parting tool is from Easy Wood, and it has a carbide insert in it. All right, and just kind of want to test that real quick, and it's nice and straight. Yeah, just make sure, because you're going to use that recess to actually expand the jaws and finish off the top of this too, or you can put it on the box, and we might do that too to finish it off. So after we do the base, then we can flip it around and do that part of it and finish off the top of the box. How are we doing on time? 7:31. So what we're going to do is we're not going to sand this because I don't want to run over into Jim's show. So what we're going to do is we're going to put and we're going to go ahead and do the base of it. Thank you very much, Jamie. Appreciate that, sir. Uh, Somebody just said they have a problem with carbide tools about the tear out. It depends on well, first of all, the carbide tool, because just like with gouges, it's all carbide is not created equal. So if you're buying cheap cutters, or you can find them on eBay for you know $15 or something for 6 of them or something. They're not the same carbide as the ones that Easywood is making here in the States. So that might be an issue because those other ones just aren't even sharp when you get them. And the other thing, it might be a type of wood. Uh, like if I'm doing a soft piece of wood, I always go with gouges because the carbide tears it up. If it's a hard piece of wood like maple or anything, any hard dense wood, you can use carbide on it and you won't get tear out. It just depends on what you're doing too. So a lot of times you see me in the videos going back and forth in between things with where I'll use a gouge and then I'll use carbide, is because I just kind of learned that they both do a great job, and one of them does a better job doing a certain thing or something. That's why I'll switch back and forth in between, even during a project. All right, I need to move the camera just a little bit. Hang on, because it's right in the way on the tailstock. All right, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and just give it a little bit of support from the end, and I'm going to make that tenon for this recess. So, set of calipers there. What I always do is just get them to where they're supposed to be, pull them out, and then I open them up just a little bit to make it a little bit bigger, and that way I can bring it down to this diameter, and then I can start fine-tuning it to fit the lid there. All right. And off just a little bit. And then you can just hold the calipers right up to it. Somebody asked if there was a grading system for carbide, and that I don't know. Is Chris in the chat? Okay, Chris would know, because I have no idea. I'm sure there probably is. Yeah, it really is. It's just like buying. There's a difference between buying a cheap tool and buying an expensive gouge. It's kind of the same thing. All right, we're gonna go ahead and bring it down just a little bit more. And then I just kind of fine tune this part. As I'm going through. There we go. Got that down. At least to there. And then we have a little bit left. Let me recheck that. I think it opened up a little bit. And you can always do like a very thin cut out here, like on the end. And then that way, if you have to adjust it, but you can get it to where it's really close right there. And then that way, you know, you can bring down the rest of it. Fit. Thank you very much, Alan. I appreciate that. Alex, thank you, sir. Sorry. I can't. Oh, Alex from Phoenix. Thank you, sir. All right. So look at that. And so what it's going to do is line the grain right back up. Oop. Right back up where it goes. Okay. And then oh, okay. Yeah, somebody had a question about the negative rake. Robin wasn't sure whether it's to me or in the chat, but it's no, these aren't. We're going to use those at 4. We're going to go ahead and turn some resin at 4 with those. All right. So once you have all that done, normally you would have sanded this, so it would have been off a little more than it actually is, but you can go ahead and true the whole thing up to fit the box. So that it's all perfect. And fits together nice. And at this point, you can go ahead and shape the top of the lid, do whatever you want with that. And so with this too, it's, if your tenon is a little bit loose, you can always just wrap tape around that to hold it on. That works great. Just painter's tape. Just gonna cut this out just a teeny bit. Yeah, so, and then somebody was like, I mean, so when I'm doing like this right here, you can see the shavings are kind of a little bit rough, but it's definitely, you know, cutting them. And then when I do like a final cut, they get very fine, because when you're just roughing something out, it doesn't really matter. But when you go to do your final pass, and try and catch some of these. So you can see they're just nice, fine little shavings, and we can take a look at what that looks like. So you can see it's nice, clean cut, but you just slow way down. And up here, I would do the same thing when I'm doing the final pass, just nice and slow like that, and that will give you a much cleaner cut than going fast. All right, let me pop that off. Okay. All right, get this out of the way. All right, so now I'm just going to go ahead and clean up this just a little bit. Does everybody have coffee in them by now? Everybody's awake? All right, so I'm just going to clean that up a little bit. Lid seems good. And then we'll hollow out this one. Hey guys, how's everybody doing? We're working on a maple box, and yeah, Bruce. Hey, the question was can you sharpen the carbide? You can with the diamond stone. You can actually, put a little bit of oil on stone and sharpen them up, but they're never going to be they're never going to be how they are when they came from the factory. But you can get a little more life out of them. But it's really, I know a lot of people that sharpen them up, but it's not going to bring it back to how it was. So you can see, let me switch the camera back here real quick. Hopefully the audio on it's not a mess. So you can see the grain all lines back up on it, which is really nice. And once you get oil and everything on it, that'll be good. All right, let's switch back and we'll hollow this thing out. How are we doing on time? 15 minutes. Man, it's taking me longer to make a box than I thought. All right. Well, we're probably not going to finish the whole thing, but let's get it hollowed out here. So there are a couple of different ways to do this. A Forstner bit is actually the easiest way to do it. Bring the tailstock up, put a Forstner bit in there, go as large as you can. You definitely want to leave a little bit of little bit of room there. You don't want to go too close to the tenon, but definitely a Forstner bit. That way it just goes right down in here. You know where the bottom of it is. You only need to make a few passes on it. But they do screech and squeal, so I'm just going to do it with the number one hauler. It'll go pretty fast. So I'm going to crank the speed up to 3,000 on it. We got the right camera on. So, and like same thing with this, when you're just cleaning out the material, just go fast. You're not worried about whether it's tearing it or getting a clean cut or anything. Oh, the audio is working good? Okay, all right. Thank you, Robert. I will. I thought I had it all worked out before. Thank you for your help, though. Pardon me? The question was, when would you use a negative rate cutter? It works very well on resin and hardwood. Hardwood, super like, cocobolo, blackwood, things like that. It works very well for things like that. So, anytime you're turning resin or acrylic or anything, it works fantastic. And we're going to do that this afternoon. We'll be doing I'm actually going to turn a big piece of Alumilite resin. So, and I'm not sure whether you can hear it, if you can hear that chatter from the tool. And it's because we're so far out away from the headstock. So you just keep working your way down, cleaning it out. So, and Jim Overton is going to be on next. So there'll be a link here in the chat pretty soon when I'm finishing up, and you can go over and check out his channel and see what he's doing. And then they were just going to keep going through the day with different demonstrations on a bunch of different things. We got everything from spoon carving to resin casting. What else we have? Hollow forms. I think Scott Grove's going to do some inlay stuff. Jamie's doing a bowl. So we got a bunch of different stuff. Okay. All right. We only got about 10 minutes left, so I think you kind of get the idea of what we're doing here. So basically you're just cleaning this out like you were cleaning out the top of the lid, and you can put all that back on, sand and finish it, get your finish on everything. And on this one, oh, all right. One other thing too, I always leave them tight like that because the wood moves a little bit. So if you leave them tight, take them in the house, let them sit overnight or for a couple of days, and then bring them out. If it's still tight, you can sand this just a little bit, but I always leave them a little bit tight so you have something to work with. Because you don't want to make it absolutely perfect and then take it in the house and the wood shrinks and then the lid's loose on it. So I would just play around with that. All right, let me move the camera here real quick, and I will, if anybody has any questions before we move on to Jim, let me pull this up. All right, there we go. All right, so again, it's out of maple, and it just kind of take your time on it. There's this way, doing it with tenon on each side of it works very well for lining the grain back up. And you can see with that thin parting tool, you really don't waste hardly any wood at all. It just is straight in with that, so it works very nice, especially if you're trying to line the grain back up. And then what I would do on this is take it out, flip it around, expand the jaws, and then finish off the bottom of it, and that way you're all done. So normally when I do a lidded box and I'm not demonstrating or messing around, it takes probably for something like this, probably an hour and 15 minutes or so. You can have one done. And if you use the Forstner bit, it really, the only reason I didn't is because it squeals a lot and it's super loud. So that speeds up the whole process. It really just cleans out the majority of the wood inside, and you only have to take a couple of passes on the inside of it to get it all cleaned up. Like I said, I'll be back on at 3 Pacific time. We'll be using the negative rake cutter. Hang on one sec. And we're turning this giant piece of Alumilite resin I got from Jake Thompson. And I'll talk about that when we start to do it. The tool caddy on the side of my lathe. So a buddy of mine in Kansas made this for me, and I don't know if it'll come out. Oh, it won't come out. How about this? How about let's just go old school, and I can just drag the camera over there. How about that? That's improv at its best, right? There should be links in the chat too to the raffle. Thank you guys, appreciate it. Okay, there's the tool caddy. So there's a just a bar that goes down there, because they actually have a tool caddy that goes with it. It's just small, but this one is steel grate. Everything just slides right down in it. And no, it's not a suit. You have to come back at 3 o'clock to see exactly what it is, unless you can tell right now. All right, let me put this back. And sorry, took you on a little ride there. Yeah, it's it'll be fun turning the resin, and there's the ribbons are amazing. It looks awesome. So I'll get this one finished up today. I'm going to be in the chat with everybody else too, watching everybody throughout the day. But there's a bunch of fun stuff. So go check out everybody, and don't forget there's a raffle right there. So they're giving away tools and t-shirts and hats and all sorts of stuff. So go sign up for that. And after the day, it has all the details on there. You can sign up today, and then after that, they're going to pick all the winners. So free stuff. I will get that done. I'll get this giant chunk of resin set up. It does look like a sumo wrestler kind of, doesn't it? But you have to wait and see. All right. How much time do we have left? Okay. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions before we go? Jim's not quite live yet. And if anybody has any questions. Max, hey, Matt is in Newburgh. Yes. Hey, Matt, you're literally like 4 miles away. We're in Sherwood, just up the road from you. Oh, that's funny. Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Yeah, if you have any questions that you think of after this one's over, wait till the next stream, or till 3, and you can definitely come back and watch there. But check out what all the other people are doing. There's probably a link for Easy Wood Tools in the chat too, and it has a list of everybody that's going to be on there. What was that? If this is your first time here, Robin is on the phone with me, so that's how I can not look at the chat and talk to everybody, and I know what the questions are and everything else. And apparently she just starts cracking, or occasionally she just starts cracking up, and I have no idea why. So, Uncle Doug wants me to tell a joke. I don't know. Why do you call me Uncle Carl? Is he saying I'm old? Huh. It's called wisdom. Yes, the detailing tools do have negative rake. Actually, this one right here is the fine detailer, and it actually has a negative rake on it right now. You don't have any space in your wood shop. How can you do wood turning? The fact is, wood turning is probably one of the least space need. I don't know how to word that. Anyway, wood turning, you don't need. I work right here in an 8x8 square. I have all of my tools, my lathe, a cabinet with all my sandpaper in it. This is all you need. If you had a smaller, bench top lathe, you wouldn't even need this much space. So I turn almost every day, and this is my workspace, 8x8. I have everything within one step away from me. The only other thing I use all the time is a bandsaw to kind of cut everything up to get it close to size. All right, Jim is live. So in the chat, click on Jim Overton's channel, and he's going to be doing some cool stuff with milliput. I love that stuff. It's cool. All right. Hope you enjoy the day, and I will be back on at 3, and we will do some resin turning. All right, guys, have a great one.